Hello and welcome to Fashion Report Friday, the weekly video series trying to get you the absolute most MGP possible from the Mandeville Gold Saucer every Friday when judging begins. This is week 203, and this time around the clue is Spellbinding Drover, whatever that means. The clues then individually include the wild side for your body, coiled finally for your hands, the wild side for your legs, and Dalmascan chic for your feet. In this video we have a 100 score, an 80 with dies, and the easiest 80 possible. Without further ado, let's get onto that 100 score. Alrighty then, so for the 100 score, our first item is the Gargana Skin Jacket of Aiming. I'm not sure if any other Gargana skin type items would work for this. In fact, this is actually from a vendor Norlays in the Pillars of Ishgard from the Jeweled Grosier. It's actually from the Disciple of War level 60 tab for 33,000 gil. I'm not sure of alternatives just yet, apart from I think the Anemos jacket will work as well for this slot. But apart from that, I'm not sure of any others that could work at this time of recording. So yes, that's the one I went for, but it's vendor purchase, so that's actually quite a good option in my opinion. For the gloves then, I went for the replica Dreadworm Braces of Aiming with the coiled finally sort of clue. That means you'd be able to go for any of the replica or original Dreadworm gloves for your character. It doesn't matter what job you would be on those. However, the replica Dreadworm Braces of Aiming are the ones I went for, and that's mostly because of the choice of aiming stuff that I went for both the chest and the legs. But of course, if you did have access to the Anemos chest, and that will give you a gold rating, then that means you could go for any of the Dreadworm gloves in the game, if you wish. However, the other option then for the legs is the Gargana Skin Chaps of Aiming. This might actually put you this direction, which is the whole reason a lot of people have chosen to do the aiming side of things rather than trying to make something with the Anemos jacket, and that's because I don't know of any other alternatives for these legs. I would imagine there would be probably some Dalmor skin ones that might work, but as far as I know, from what I've looked around on the internet so far from other people that have tested, the Gargana Skin Chaps of Aiming are the only ones that seem to work thus far. But of course it's early hours, so if you have your own alternative, please feel free to leave that in the comment section below. And then finally then for the 100, I went for the Dalmascan leather shoes. This is a fairly basic leather worker recipe, as you can see on screen. Nothing too taxing, especially now since we're level 90. If you have access to a level 90 leather worker, this should be a fairly straightforward affair. Some of the materials are easier to get than others, but of course it will be cheaper to craft it than to get it from the market board. But the market board should be, possibly doable if you have some gil lying around. But that's the 100 score. I'm sorry for the lack of many alternatives, but I'm going to leave that for the comment section to decide on, basically. And if you think of anything that might go for these and you've tested it and it works, then feel free to let us know in the comments below. Right, let's move on to the 80 with dies. Okay, so our 80 with dies, as you can see, our weapon, any weapon in the game, needs to be dyed pearl white dye for your best in slot option. For our helm, our chest, and our hands, we need jet black dye. For our legs, we need raisin brown. And finally, for the feet, more jet black. Considering that this particular option has 4 jet black dyes alone, that makes this quite an expensive option if you don't already have those. I'm not really sure why there's so much jet black dye involved in this. I think maybe Square Enix doesn't really like us in this particular situation. It feels like quite a hefty thing, so maybe the dye options aren't really the best thing to go for. So let's move on to the easiest 80 of the week and get away from this as fast as possible. Oh, jeez, that's a lot of black dye. Alrighty then, so for the easiest possible 80, I've actually got two options for you, but honestly there are lots of ways of doing this. So one of the ways I decided to do it first was, first of all, any gloves and legs in the game, it doesn't matter what they are, I've dyed those, first of all, soot black on the gloves, and then for the legs, I've dyed those raisin brown. Those are two very cheap dyes, considering, in comparison to what the actual, normal dye options would be. And then I got the Dalmascan leather shoes, and I've dyed those soot black as well. So we don't need to go jet black. We're not going for 100 score. We need only soot black. So if you can get access to these Dalmascan leather shoes, dye those soot black dye, and then get any legs in the game, which are raisin brown, and then any gloves in the game and dye those soot black, have something equipped in every slot, and you'll get an 80 score guaranteed. Now, obviously, the Dalmascan leather shoes are, sometimes probably expensive in comparison to other things. So one of the other ways that you could do an easy 80 that's, again, equipable by all classes level 1 and above in the entire game, which was the purpose of this easy 80 anyway, would be to get the Anemos jacket instead. This is something that you can get from Eureka Anemos, you can get it from lock boxes in Eureka Anemos, and you can also get this crafted as well as on the market board. It should be relatively cheap in comparison to a lot of other options. So if you wanted to go for a more cheap option, what I would do is I would get the Anemos jacket, I would dye that soot black, then I would dye any gloves in the game soot black, then I would dye any legs in the game, obviously that raisin brown, and then you would have an easy 80 with if you had something else in every other slot. So those are the two options, but obviously you could take a couple of the items from the previous 100 score and then mess around with dyes, mix and match. It's really not that hard. Basically, the way to get an 80 is you just have one of the gold classed items and dye that the same color that it's supposed to be dyed or close to. As I say, soot black works in comparison to like a jet black, and then have like 2 or 3 other items also dyed similar dyes as well. But yeah, anyway, hopefully this has helped. Those are two 80 options that I would go for personally on all of my ults, and probably will, as well as the dye options for fully for 80, which were very pricey, and of course a 100 score at the start of the video. Much thanks to everybody in the community worldwide for posting things in a timely manner. Lots of people have posted their own testing of dyes and other things, which makes this a lot quicker in the morning for me. So yeah, thanks to the entire community, really. There's not one individual that needs to be raised above anyone else. It's a huge group effort. Right, much love. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Hopefully Endwalker is, or should I say Q Walker is kind to you, and I'll see you all next time for more videos. Much love, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.